Hey, welcome to the Hive with Us podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Martinez. Today we have special guests today, two young hustlers from San Antonio. They actually met Anthony at a meetup in San Antonio a few weeks ago. So Anthony said, you gotta get these guys on the podcast, and here they are. Can you guys do a brief little introduction of who you are, what you do, and let's just do who you are, because there's two of you. So you guys outnumbered me today. So let's just start off with who you are.
So you're gonna go first, Ty, or me?
100%, bro. I'll take it.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's going on, y'all? My name is Ty Duhart. I do a bunch of things. I'm involved in a little bit of real estate, a little bit of marketing, but my primary operation right now is in finance. So for those of you who have heard of infinite banking, we're kind of going to touch on that a little bit, exactly what it is, and maybe a little bit more in the podcast. But yeah, infinite banking is our bread and butter. We help people with, if it's someone that's looking to retire, we help them with retirement. If it's someone that's looking for tax advantage strategies, private lenders that are looking to not lend money out of their bank account, we built out policies that help them leverage their money to the best advantage. Born and raised in San Antonio, raised in California.
Okay.
Yeah, I love God. I love hustling. I love my family.
All right. How about you, Jevin?
Yes, sir. So yes, my name is Jevin Does, 21 years old, from San Antonio as well, born and raised, and live more based on what me and Ty do. We're in the insurance/investing industry with finances, and we really, besides the infinite banking and all that, we teach people how to get the best value and how to leverage their own money the best way, and we help each person specifically get to the next level in their life. So we help lower class get to middle class get to high class, and the high class people climb that step on to where they want to be in life too. 7 figures, 8 figures, etc.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Wherever it may be.
All right. So first of all, can you guys go over your ages again? I think Jevin, you're 20.
21.
21, and
Yes,
Ty,
sir.
you're 20.
20 years old. 20 I turned 20 in June. 21 next June.
Okay. All right. So
Young
I'm gonna hit
hustler.
you with the hard questions because this isn't your everyday show. But how can you tell people about retirement and finance when you guys are 20 and 21 years old?
Okay.
Okay.
Jeff, I don't know if Jeff wants to answer that one first.
Oh, I want to answer that. So,
Hit me.
it comes with this knowledge because, a lot of the world is unfortunately financially ignorant. And then the industry we're with, the company we're with, we're taught the very secret and the top knowledge of finances. And we know exactly what people are dealing with and how it affects them. And so, it's just about just getting good at the skill and learning about knowledge and spreading that knowledge correctly to everybody.
Okay. All right. So do you guys have to I'm sure it's and this is where I like talking to young people because young people have different struggles because there's young entrepreneurs and young bosses and young hustlers that are seen differently from different perspectives of other entrepreneurs or even just regular everyday people. So how do you guys overcome that little barrier to when you're talking to everyday people? Is it just kind of over knowledge? Do you break it down too much where you're like, hey, I have experience doing this, and how does that conversation usually come out?
I think ultimately, especially in this day and age, network, kind of like if you're connected to the right people and you're introduced to the right people by the right people, the fact that person is introducing to that person speaks volume. But other than that, marketing, so just platforms like Instagram where just building an audience to where people before they reach out to us, they don't need to, they kind of see our value through content, right? And then once we're in front of them, just communicating, providing value where we know we could blow their mind, right? And fortunately, with the knowledge that we have, we know what buttons to tick on, no matter who we're talking about,
Okay.
or who we're talking to, right? So if we're talking to maybe a CEO, corporate executive, who's looking to maybe structure a tax advantage strategy for themselves. Their company is paying out, let's say it's an S corp paying out, getting paid $500,000 a year, right? On the low end, $500,000 a year. And from that, they want to find a way to monetize that cash flow without taking a tax hit. So we might be able to structure something like an executive bonus through an insurance policy where instead of writing the check to the IRS, they write a check into their executive bonus. They get that bonus, no taxes. There's other strategies. We're just talking to maybe like an everyday person who's looking to retire. Like, hey, Do you know how your 401k works? You know, why do you have your 401k? We'll just break down the 401k to them. Just show them how it really works. Like, did you know it worked like this? I'm like, no, I didn't. Well, if you did, would you still have contributed to it? 9 out of 10 times it's no. So it's really just sharpening yourself and becoming really efficient, being able to explain something efficiently, and putting in the work behind the doors to where we could be in front of someone and them immediately be able to see the value day in, day out, hustling and going hard in your craft. We were kind of talking about yesterday, me and Jevin, we were athletes in high school and we like combat. So we were watching some Mayweather clips. And I was like, Jev, if you had to have one mindset, whose mindset would it be? And he was like, Money Mayweather, bro.
This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings and, of course, to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
He showed me the loss that Money Mayweather took. I don't know. I think it was in the Olympics where he was supposed to win, and they robbed him of his victory. And he's there. He's crying when they're interviewing him, and Jeb was like, in that moment, he became a dog because without that loss, he wouldn't have gotten to be as victorious as he is today. And it's just a matter of wanting something to the degree to where you're willing to put in the work to make that dream happen.
Okay. You mentioned your Instagram is the best way to hit you up. You guys produce a lot of content on Instagram, and what is that? Is that content just like financially based?
Yeah, so my content it started with a lot of tax advantage strategies, some retirement strategies. I'm talking a lot more to investors now and real estate agents, trying to lock up some. I met Anthony at the wholesale event, so we're looking to lock up some properties here shortly. So I'm kind of skewing into aside from financial advice, kind of tying it into wealth advice. One of the best wealth building vehicles is real estate. So we're talking a lot more about real estate here these days. So real estate.
Plug in Instagram real quick.
Thank you. Ty Duhart and Dozy Doze.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you guys, when did you guys start creating content on Instagram? Because I remember when I made that decision was probably about 4 years ago, maybe 5. It was probably about 5 years ago. I made a decision hey, I'm just gonna start producing content, and it looked like shit. And then it got better over time, and then I figured out what my niche was and purpose was, and it kind of got better. But when did you guys start doing that? Because you guys, just even have that thought at however long ago that was. Crazy.
And so me personally, I don't do really content. That's more Tyler's thing because it's more, I talk to people more about the value and how it actually affects them because so I've been here for a year in my company, but the time I've been with the company, I rose to the top 1% of the entire age of the company. So I'm pretty knowledgeable about the products and how it actually affects people. And so I'll do more of cold-hearted, talking to people one-on-one. With content, it's not really my stronghold. And because, with these, once you get into finance, it's more complex. A lot of people don't understand. Or I guess to my comprehension level, I have to break it down real simple when I post videos. And so the content's more, Tyler has a better way with the content.
Yeah, I respect that. No, everybody has their superpower. And I think if you find out this young what it is, just dig in.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm very introverted, but I kind of built this muscle of being in front of a camera and speaking.
It's a muscle. It's literally a muscle. I think a lot of people don't realize that. It's like you said, it's a muscle. If you don't work that muscle out, it's never going to grow. You've probably been in front of the camera hundreds of times, and I guarantee you, there's a switch that has to flip as it's going. It's kind of like for me, I don't know if you ever cold showered or did a cold plunge, but it's like you gotta like brace yourself, stop overthinking it, and then just do. In a sense, for me, everyone's different.
It was difficult at first, and then you kind of push through it, and then you become a whole lot better with it, and then now it comes naturally. And then me and Anthony are really good on camera together, and we have like a synergy that happens. And I don't know if you guys hit that level yet where the synergy comes in, but like we've done enough interviews together, and we know each other are going to say that we can kind of interject wherever I know he's going to talk, and he knows where I'm going to talk.
Got you.
There's a synergy that happens when we're both on camera together, so it's pretty interesting.
When do you get to the point to where that starts kicking in? Is it after a certain amount of videos? Is it just because you guys are around each other so much?
We actually, me and Anthony, is pretty funny because we only met each other probably 10 to 20 times. It's probably been about 15 to 20. So all of our conversation has been through phone calls and Zooms and podcasts like this. So when you talk to each other on a daily basis, you build that relationship. My wife makes the joke about my second wife because I talk to him just as much as I talk to my wife.
Yeah,
which is crazy, but like me and Anthony, we have that synergy. Like it took a long time to build, so it's different for everybody. And I think once you find your right fit in that relationship, it just comes naturally.
that's crazy. The way you guys are on podcasts, I would have assumed you guys are lifelong friends.
Mm-hmm.
No, we met about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Mm.
So not even been that long.
Wow.
Not even been that long.
So
But
what
it's
did
not
you?
about me. It's not about me.
Okay.
Kind of flip the podcast on me. And I'm going to point it out too because you used to be a podcast host too, right, Ty?
Yes.
Okay, so how long have you been in the podcast space since you started your first one?
So I started my first podcast my senior year of high school. So maybe about 3 years, but I haven't been shooting recently. Right, I just kind of been mostly focused on operational day-to-day basis things. But yeah, the first podcast I started was an ET Speaks. Slogan was teach, preach, and inspire the youth to become the best version of themselves. Started that podcast with a lifelong friend of mine. His name's Elijah. He's stationed in the Marines right now. That's ultimately the route he took. I took more of the entrepreneurial route, obviously, as we are here today. So I stopped shooting whenever he left to the Marines because I lost my co-host.
Yep.
And at that point, I really just focused on, digging into the nitty gritty of really understanding business, because I do have a heart, like Jevin said, I have a heart for content. But one of the biggest things that kind of holds me back is it's very easy for me to go back to what I know, and I find that I'm reluctant to go against the grain to get better at things that I'm bad at, right? Because just that, something that you're bad at, or you go from being really good at something to really bad at something. It's like no one likes to suck at things, right? So just overcoming that, I guess that learning curve for me was especially being in front of these people, learning real estate, learning business, and learning it so quick that most of my time was away from podcasting, just really making sure that I was able to hold my own, and as far as questions and hold my own in a conversation as far as questions about either what it is I do, or know enough about whoever I'm talking to's industry to be able to ask them valuable questions about their industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So ultimately 3 years.
Okay. What does like your everyday business look like, as far as this is for both of you, but what does your everyday business look like for you, Ty, and you, Jevin?
For me, so let's say begin week. So I wake up early, read some books, contact people, create appointments, meet people, do appointments, educate people, network with people. That's usually my business day. So like say today, woke up early, read a book, made some calls, set some appointments, and then I didn't have no appointments today because I was like, man, I'm excited for this podcast. Let me get ready for this. Let's game plan it. So that was my day like today.
Are you more of the sales side or operations? I think Ty's operations, right?
We do everything. So
We're everything hat guys is right now. We haven't done too much outsourcing.
Okay. You guys have any other? How big's your team? Back end team? Just you two?
So we have. So within our operation, right, we have A total of all of our guys are like we're doing. How do I put it? So we don't have a system in place yet to where it's like like acquisition system, right? To where maybe we have like a marketing system running, and the closers are just on appointments right now, where they do with everything. We're out here, networking with people, reaching out to people. And we're in the middle of hiring a CMO. I actually just saw that Anthony posted Sam Bart. I met Sam actually maybe about a month ago at the podcast, not the podcast, at the Pearl. Found out that it was a CMO, and I was like, it's perfect running into you because I'm looking at outsourcing marketing, getting a pretty large campaign going pretty soon. So I was supposed to be on a call with him last week, but something came up, so we had to reschedule. But we're right in the middle phase of you know delegation, integration, and automation to where we're not having to wear all the hats ourselves. We're just able to delegate that stuff, train up some people that know what they're talking about, maybe hire a VA to make sure that our freaking, Google calendars and emails are all sorted out. But it's like the perfect operational shift going into 2024 because 2023 has mostly been just learning the lay of the land, making sure that before we start bringing people on board the boat, that there's no holes in the boat. Just patching up where we fall short in the business, and then making sure we could duplicate that into if it's a closer, if it's somebody that wants to understand how to run a. Maybe I know Sam has been doing what he's been doing for like over since 2016. Before that, since Facebook ads have been around, so I know he's in good hands. It's just ultimately, it's weird because we're at the point where we're making good money, right? And we kind of know what to do with it. It's just that who to talk to and who to be in contact with to do things most efficiently is kind of weird because we don't know, if that makes sense.
I gotcha. One thing I'll say too is maybe I'll put a little input in here is definitely get your systems and like hats figured out, sorted, and then you can figure out like where holes are. So I think I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, but I'm gonna pick on you as far as you don't have a website. So driving everywhere to Instagram I think it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I think just if you're hitting different types of audiences, you got to have a website somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a forum.
Yeah.
Got you.
And so, like I said, I'm not knocking it. Like I don't drive my main business through Instagram, so it might be totally different for you. So I might be knocking on wood here. You can take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because we're looking to have a landing page built out here soon actually. So I have a meeting with not Sam, but I have a meeting with another marketing company down here in San Antonio. And yeah, we're looking to start having all that on board to where we're just, as of right now, just closing business, not having to do a bunch of cold outreach to where it's just I just wake up, look at my booking, and I have 5 appointments, 10 appointments for that day, and all I got to do is walk them through the process.
No, that's I mean, that's even good, man. If you're already getting that much organic traffic, that's priceless. Because without even doing any marketing, you're already getting business sales calls, and if you're doing that much traffic through Instagram, I'm wrong then.
No, I'm not saying that we are doing that much traffic. I'm saying that we're getting to the point where we're gonna start getting like paid traffic to
okay.
a website.
Paid traffic to convert. Gotcha. So what is like you're more like consultations, right? Consulting.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
100% consultations. One of the things I love about that is a lot of people knock it, but I love the digital business aspect of it because it's just delivering knowledge. That's your delivery.
Exactly.
Your deliverable is delivering knowledge, and I'm very pro digital business, which is why I have a software company. But it's very replicatable. So what's the future look like for you guys? Because it looks like you're kind of getting your organized on the back end a little bit. More team is growing, which is good. It means you're in a growing space. But what's your all-in-all goal? Because Anthony says you guys have $1 trillion vision.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he texted me. So one thing, and we'll dig into this. So think about $1 trillion vision. But one thing I really want to say is I think a lot of young people, they don't put big enough goals on what they could become, so they never amount to great things. But Anthony says you have $1 trillion vision. Let's get $1 trillion vision, man.
Okay. I don't know if Jeff wants to go first on that one, but $1 trillion
Ooh,
vision is a perfect way to put it.
we could kind of, it's a lot. I kind of summarize it in a short.
We're
So
past the Rockefellers.
yeah, we're trying to. So right now, this is what I'm looking at. You know, everybody has somebody trying to be like. I'm trying to be like the Rockefellers. Once I get there, whoever they're trying to be like, I'm gonna get ahead of that. Get ahead of that. So this is our $1 trillion business plan, just kind of short note. So we basically have people. So you know, like a lot of real estate investors, they use other people's money to like funnel it to pay for stuff.
Yep.
So basically, we help people leverage their own money, have their own capital, because a lot of people don't know, you know, with a lot of investments like that, you really have to have the capital for it. And we help people get the capital. Not only that, hey, we know how you're able to get the capital, but you borrow money, not yours, from like the insurance companies, and from the money you borrow, you just keep following that out, reproducing the same thing. It's like it's a whole
Yeah. So
breakdown.
ultimately, we're in the. I know. I heard what was his name, Malcolm, talk about people are in the paper game, and there's people in the property game, and then there's people I've met with some people who are in like mergers and acquisition, who are literally just in the business of flipping businesses. So instead of flipping houses, they come into a freaking business and turn it around. But all of that, and the reason why everyone's doing that is to attain more capital. Ultimately, we're in the money game, right? So what my like $1 trillion vision is, I understand that what it is we do, we could plug into every single industry if we want to plug into. I have a huge background in marketing. My first company was a marketing company. It was called Apex Mindset. We'll kind of get into that later. But the $1 trillion vision is to, you know, create a personal brand so strong, all right? It's where people just hear the names Ty Duhart, people hear the names Jeff Does and our team. And like if we wanna really make sure that we're financially elite, those are the guys to talk to. How do we do that? The question becomes, how do we become so credible, so undeniable that when people hear the names, like if, well, I'm going to use an example. If people think of real estate, they might think Pace Morby. They might think Grant Cardone. They might think Ryan Pineda. If people think business, a lot of minds go to Alex Hormozy. A lot of minds go Gary Vee. When people, I wanted to build a personal brand so strong, so when people hear finance and investments, they think they don't think Rockefellers, they don't think Carnegies, they don't think Morgans, and none of that. I want them to think Ty Duhart, Jeff Does, and you know, team, whoever's our team. We got to become the face of that. So ultimately, it's pioneering spaces and, you know, partnering with people who aren't. I know solar is huge right now. Tech, STEM. How can we get ourselves to the point to where we're valuable across the board to the industries like that? Well, we're in the money game, right? We're in the money game. So when it comes to funding, maybe becoming a behemoth of our own financial institution through, you know, I have my marketing company called Acquisition Atlantis. So just driving the marketing into channels that make sense. Ultimately painting the picture that, hey, you want to build your wealth. You really want to get to that next level, right? Here's the strategies that we used, tried, true, and tested. We're not selling you anything. We're just leaving a blueprint. If you want to understand, I could hand you I could hand if I hand you, Daniel, a map. If I hand you a blueprint to build a rocket ship, are you going to be able to build a rocket ship?
Probably not.
Probably not, right?
I don't know how to weld.
Right? Exactly. So you could have the A through Z, how to build a rocket ship, but ultimately, you know, have to go to a freaking astrophysicist and, you know, a whole team to do that. That's what we're aimed at doing through helping people. I come from low middle class, right? And being able to be in this industry and kind of be the end of that generational curse for my family. The fact that I could go out and duplicate that into other people is what drives me. So I understand in business there's two things: marketing and sales, right? People come into business and they might understand their business model really well, and they might be really solid closers, but I find that a lot of people fall short in marketing. They don't understand marketing operations, how to generate traffic, simple things like KPIs, CRMs, and things of the sort. They don't really understand that. They don't understand client acquisition, right? So I want to be able to have a huge behemoth of a client acquisition system for people that are hungry and willing to go get it, and across the board, industry to industry.
So I have a special thing that comes to mind for all that, and I'll put it on the screen because
Okay.
you guys will like this one too. So it says somebody in your family tree has to care enough about money to go get it for everyone else.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. You just pulled that up like right off the top.
Well, I actually screenshotted a little while ago. So when you're talking, I'm like, gotta find the tweet real quick.
That's perfect, man. I'll let Jeff kind of speak on that, man.
Yes, sir. Speak on. So yeah, we are, because so for our mindset, same thing. I came from actually a low income family. The house I grew up in, man, it was 4 generations. It was me, my mom, my grandma, and my great grandpa living in the same house. And now a little bit how I got in the industry, it was like after COVID. So I was having a hard time in life. COVID happened. I lost my dad, and I was kind of confused and lost. And so I was praying to God. I was like, "Hey God, I don't care what I do, man. If I make money, that's cool. But if I can help people out, let's do it." And then I ran into this opportunity. And then a little bit back on what Ty said, we help people financially. And, sadly enough, in this world, a lot of problems come through financially problems. And then not only that, we know like the top secrets of the finances. So a lot of people, when it comes to finances, they want to get like Elon Musk to become their own bank, like the Rockefellers. Well, we know exactly what they do. So not only what Tyler said, hey, here's what I do to help you out. Well, this is what basically the people we kind of owe money to, like the Rockefellers, all the Federal Reserve people. This is what they created. And this is how they not only help obtain the capital, but maintain the capital, got extra wealthy, came on top of the financial ladder. And it's pretty crazy, what people don't really get a true understanding of when it comes to finances and how we break it down.
So one thing I really want to dig in on is I love what you guys are doing, because I think especially the online day and age, is everything's becoming decentralized. Most of the money, all the trillions of dollars in the stock market, is all individual people's money that they've given up control. They've given up control into their 401k, and they let the employee match, and they invest in their 401k ROI match, and everybody's giving up control of all their money, and then it's frivolously spent fees and stuff like that. So that's crazy.
You mentioned stock market. So you know why it became the stock market?
Why?
So in 1924, I think that's the exact date. So the stock rate, it was only available to millionaires. It was privately published. So people started finding out about it, and they were like, hey, let's put our money in this. So people started putting their money in, right? And the government was like, hey, is he not in control? Hey, y'all can have that. We're going to call it the stock market, and only y'all are in control of it. If something happens, y'all mess up, it's on y'all. We're going to do something else. And that's funny you mentioned that, because when it comes to the stock market, people that are experts in the stock market, when it comes to real facts, they'll know nothing about the stock market or money. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I like that you give people back control of their finances. I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest problem in America and around the world, is everybody's having somebody else manage it for them, and they don't understand what they're even investing in as a whole. So I think you even in educating on any facet of that. I think you said it earlier. What's a 401k and why does it make sense? I liquidated my 401k to invest in myself, and I have no 401k. I gambled on myself, and I'm creating my own future.
That's beautiful, man. And I bet whenever you liquidated your 401k, you probably paid a penalty. You probably paid fat shucking taxes, right?
I did.
But it's beautiful that most people don't understand that. First of all, a skill set. If you I kind of circle back to Alex Hormozi. I'm a huge Alex Hormozi fan. He says, don't invest in the S&P 500. Invest in the S&P and me, right? If you put maybe even just $5,000 a year towards yourself to learning a skill set that is going to make you more money, you're doing yourself a service, because now ultimately we're all about taking back your financial power. You put your money in a stock. First of all, everyone freaking remembers what happened in 2008.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention Game Boy or GameStop for a second.
Even GameStop, man. Just ultimately speaking, we're boiling down to the point where we're getting people to be able to be like, hey, I don't want my money in this stock that's going up, going down, right? Why are we doing that? We're doing that because we've been conditioned by society to have like almost like a passive accumulation mindset to where we can just set it and forget it. A lot of people are under the misconception that to get to that next level, you could just set and forget, not think about it. Ultimately, even if you say you have a passive portfolio, or if you have a business where you're not even the CEO, you're the owner, so you're completely stepped away. You have a CEO running your business. You still have to have some sort of output towards that to make sure that it's still in good standing.
Yep.
Right? But a lot of people kind of have been fooled to think that, hey, I could just go put X amount away and then look at it tomorrow and it's going to be $1 million. It's like you had to have a lot more energy for that to ultimately I was going to say like gravity, but
Gravitate towards?
yeah, exactly. Gravitate towards, right? You have to have a lot more energy in that ecosphere to ultimately attract whatever it is you're after. But people are kind of just setting and forgetting, and there's no energy going there, so there's no gravity.
One thing I'm going to say is I love the investing in your self education, because a lot of people that invest in dividends, it's passive income, and I'm like, dude, the best ROI is on yourself.
It is.
If you invest in your education, you can produce, huge amounts of ROI that could change and pivot your whole life. And I think that's one thing I think you guys have probably done personally, because I could tell you guys invested in your education, and now you're able to monetize that forever.
Yeah. 100%. And there's, I don't know, some people, there's two sides of the fence. It takes money to make money, or you can make a bunch of money with no money. I think ultimately I sit in the middle. So it's like, I understand that if I have capital, if it's my capital or someone else's capital, that I'm going to be able to leverage that capital to gain back time and go do whatever the heck it is I need to do. But ultimately, before I could get to the point to where somebody trusts me with their capital, right, I need to go and invest in myself. I could read all the freaking books in the world.
Ooh.
I could go forums and just dig in, right? But ultimately, I
You're not
didn't
putting action to it.
exactly. Until I put an action to it, and until I actually have some sort of direction, some sort of guidance, I didn't start actually making money. I was in business until I started making money, 4 years until I started actually making money, right? 4 years. But it was the second that I started investing actual money, of my own money into like things like mentorships and things like even people would say don't listen to gurus, but I learned a lot from online courses that I actually started seeing an ROI. So I think in a way it does take money to make money, but you could get a lot started off the ground with zero. But the money you do get once you start to get the ball rolling shouldn't be blown on stupid things. Either invest it back into your business or invest it back into yourself, man, because ultimately you can build a $10,000 business, but what got you here is not going to get you there. I've spoken to 6-figure earners. I've spoken to people who have done 9-figure exits of their business. I've spoken to, and everything in between. And the biggest thing I learned is that exactly is what got you here is not going to get you there. Like I was speaking to Anthony, completely changed my perspective on like just how the world operates. Because I'm in the money game. Me and Devin are in the money game. He was like, "Oh, you want infinite banking? I'll show you real infinite banking." And he was talking about raising, private capital and whatnot. And I just to the degree and scope that money's out there is just so mind-boggling. But until you really, like you said, invest in yourself, you have like no chance of someone having a meaningful conversation with someone like that. Because I'm gonna circle back to you don't know because you don't know. You don't have enough context within the game to ask the right questions. And if they are giving you game, you don't have enough context to apply it.
Yeah. One thing I'm gonna say, circle back. There's a video of Ice Cube. You can probably Google it. He says that if you're not willing to invest 5 years without making $1, don't do it.
I've
I
seen
saw
that
this
video.
morning again. I saw this morning again. I always see that video. Crazy.
I saw that video, and actually I didn't cry because I'm not a little baby, but it brought a tear to my eye because you know it was I so a fun little business story, right? I know y'all. I think y'all do some segments where it's fun business story, so I'm just gonna.
We can save it for later. We can save it for
Okay.
later.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna circle back to it, but I do have a fun little business story
We'll
that
save
kind of
it. We'll
relates
save
to
that for
that.
later. But one thing, and I think a lot of people they want instant success, but it doesn't come that way. I
Oh
think
yeah.
you guys have been doing business probably since you're 17, 16 years old, and you probably been through a lot of those early stages. And like, oh, he's too young. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But I think you guys have been kicked in the face a few times.
Oh, it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's the thing, especially I don't know, I've since high school I told myself I was gonna be an entrepreneur. So whenever COVID happened, I was running track for high school. So my goal post COVID was to, go to school, ultimately get my degree in psychology and endocrinology, maybe like a master's or doctorate and go into that field. But then COVID happened and I was running for track, so I was gonna go for a full ride scholarship. But then my season ended because COVID, we couldn't run. So I
Yeah,
was like, all right, I gotta pivot really fast because all my eggs were into this basket and it's probably not gonna happen anymore. So from that day, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on into entrepreneurship, and I did. And since graduating, I never like working for other people. I don't know if I have like I could be coachable, but if somebody's like, you're gonna sit here and do this, and it's like kind of like breaking their foot off in my butt, I don't like that. I was like, no, I'm gonna be my own boss. So I kind of went in to this as soon as the ball started rolling. I just jumped, right? But as an entrepreneur, who's taking the financial risk?
you are.
That's right. So maybe it's naive because I was still young and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna hit the ground. I'm gonna start making $20,000, $30,000 my first months in business. It's not like that, man. There's so many, especially being in business. It forces business. Business will humble you like no other thing in the world because it forces you to be honest with yourself. And if you're not honest with yourself, you want to stay in denial. It's gonna reflect into your business, no matter what, right? So for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do good, and then there's things that come with business. Like in our business, there's something like chargebacks, right? So you could get paid one month, and probably if someone's like on a payment plan or whatever the case may be, and they stop paying, and then that charges back on you, you're just like, what the hell? I just made all this money this month, and then next month, I've also made a lot of money, but I also had a lot of chargebacks, and it's like, okay. That hurts. And then you think things are going to be good. For me, at least, I did a solid month in business, and then I just took a step back. I was like, okay, I've been working so hard. I'm gonna take a step back. Right? Big mistake, because next month I came back, more chargebacks. So it's like things like that. It's just we're still young, right? But learning quick and then pivoting 180. We got kicked in the face, but a lot of the times we got kicked in the face, it's for most of the times it was my 100% my fault. Other times it's just because you don't know because you don't know.
Ooh, chargebacks. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Chargebacks are crazy.
If you don't know what a chargeback is, Google it. But it's not fun.
Yeah.
Didn't want to talk about that.
Do you guys have chargeback in your business too?
Every once in a while. I mean, I've ran over 12,000 transactions and I got like 90 chargebacks.
That's actually really solid.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, but I still deal with it. Like,
You have like a pretty good vetting process to everyone's pretty freaking qualified.
yeah. I have a pretty good figuring out. Yeah, I get that.
That's
Figured.
good, man. That's good.
But it's still not fun either. Like I remember the first one I got. I'm like, what is this? You just took my money that I earned from somebody else.
Not the world.
I remember the first time I got a chargeback. I was expecting. I was like, okay, well, I just got back from my little mini vacay, and I was like, I'm about to get paid today. No worries, I was just gone for like X amount of time. I'm gonna come back and get paid anyways, because that's the fine dandy life of an entrepreneur. Wrong. That is not the fine dandy life of an entrepreneur. Because in an entrepreneur, you're gonna get freaking punched in the face and kicked in the gut if you're not on top of your freaking stuff. And lo and behold, chargebacks, and I was like, okay.
Like you still got payroll and bills.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
What is a quote that is yours or somebody else's? Jevin, you go first.
Oh, it's
Quote of the
kind of like
day.
it's a story, but I'm gonna say the quote is the bull goes through the storm.
Okay.
The bull runs towards the storm.
hmm
Elaborate on that.
And so it's a little story. So our mentor Nate, he's one of the youngest senior brokers in the country in the company. So he's telling the story. There's two types of people. So it's the cow and the bull, right? They both have the ability to sense when it's about to rain. When it rains, the cow runs away from the rain, keeps going, keep going. The bull, right? He's opposite. He goes head first to the rain, even though he's wet, might get struck by lightning. But at the end of the rain, there's grass and food, prosperity. You know, the storm's everything in life. Everybody's deal with the storm. Are you gonna keep running away from it, make it worse, or are you gonna push through it, which is your testimony to get you better? Because you know, the better you get, the more you have to succeed, the more you have to fail before you know what it's like to fail, for you want to never do those mistakes again. Once to the top.
All right. That's a good one, man.
Mhm.
Ty?
It's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Say it again.
It's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit. Especially like as an entrepreneur. Some people are sold the dream that, I was sold the dream a little bit that, once you get X amount of cash flow, you can take a step back, or X amount of cash flow, things are going to be good. There's always the next road bump. There's always the next hiccup, no matter what level you're at. You could have it all one day and nothing the next. But ultimately, it's a matter of, getting back up when you fall, because you're going to freaking, no matter what industry you're in, and no matter who you are, you're probably going to freaking fall. And if you don't, you're just, I guess, God's favorite or something. But I've not ran
Impending doom.
impending doom. Not to
Expected
discourage
around the
anyone.
corner.
Not to discourage anyone that, is doing really well and hasn't had that hiccup. But it's just, if you do have that hiccup, man, I'm not praying on your downfall. Just know that, it's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit. Because ultimately, I've seen, if I would have quit my first chargeback, even before I got into finance, I had chargebacks with my first marketing agency, just running Facebook ads. You know what I'm saying? Counting my eggs. I always had the mistake of counting my eggs before they hatched. Right? We had our no-brainer, our special offer at the time was just a 2-week free trial. Don't pay until you get results. So we would set up their funnel. We would set up their landing page. We would set up their A/B testing, their ad campaign. And then it would say, okay, everything's set up. And what they would do is, okay, cool. Thanks for setting my stuff up. And they would cancel their subscription, and we would never get paid. And that happened to us like 8 times. And ultimately, I stuck through it. And my business partner at the time was like, yeah, this is not for me. But if I would have gave up on just entrepreneurship then, who knows where I'd be? I'd probably be working some job I don't freaking like, going through the rat race, and ultimately not able to provide this level of opportunity for myself, my family, and friends. So it's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit.
All right. I think we're going to end it here. Go check out Dosey Dose on Instagram and Ty Duhart. I think you guys really brought a lot of game, and I hope people. I like having people on just because I hope you inspire other young people. I think it's important to have you guys on here and give you guys a platform, just because there could be some 17, 18-year-old, 16-year-old listening to this, and they're like, yeah, these guys, like that guy born in 1990 and these guys born in 2000.
That's not that far of a difference. It's only 10 years.
I know. Me and Anthony are 10 years apart, but between you and Anthony is 20 years. So
Dang.
Yeah, that is true.
That's a long time.
Game is game, and hopefully, we'll be in contact. And it was a pleasure meeting with you and speaking with you today, man.
All right, for everybody here, go like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for coming in, Jevin and Ty. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Yes,
All righty.
Hey guys, so the Hive Mind is launching a new program where we're helping you work deals that are valued at $1 million and up. If your deal is worth $980,000, we don't want to take a look at it. You can submit those deals to us at submitbigland.com, and we'll help you comp the deals. If it's good, we'll help you close it, and we'll also help you fund it and sell it. Check us out, submitbigland.com, milliondollarmastermind.com, and wholesaling $1 million land deals on Facebook. Thanks, guys.